Mark Seeland, who's sitting before me here, has been here in Chennai for the past 5 months. He is an exchange student from the Coburg University of Applied Sciences and Arts, Coburg. And the studies he has undertaken here will lead towards a Bachelor Plus in International Social Work and Development. Hi Mark, thanks for appearing in KayCee's ViewSpot. Can you explain a little more of what you're doing here and why?
I mean, I'm towards this special program, the Bachelor Plus. I'm an exchange student here in Chennai and I'm visiting courses at Madras School of Social Work in Egmore and be there with the classes and visit the usual classes to learn about Indian social work.
Okay. So, what have you learned? Now you've been here 5 months. What have you learned? Which you feel is different from if you had been there in Coburg?
Yeah, for me it's a bit sad. I mean, because I recognized during my fieldwork time that the Indian social work is very diverse. There are a lot of Indian-owned projects, but it's not reaching back to the universities. So everything that we're discussing here in our syllabus, it's just copied by UK or US textbooks. So there's nothing like the Indian-owned social work that's included into the syllabus of my college.
Okay.
And that's a bit sad for me. So because I can see it outside, and sometimes when my classmates are talking about their fieldwork experience and so on, you can also see that there's something happened, something Indian-owned. There are Indian-owned ideas behind it, but that's not reaching back to the colleges.
Okay, so you feel that they're following a Western system which doesn't apply here. So what advice would you give maybe the teachers of social work in India?
I would be so self-confident and don't rely on all that Western things. Be so self-confident and do a step towards the direction of an Indian-owned social work that's applied by Indians and that's also based on Indian theories and not on the theories out of US or UK.
Okay, that's a very good suggestion. I hope somebody views this and they're able to take it back and apply it.
For me now, when I'm comparing my studies here and my studies in Germany, I was learning much more about Indian theories in Germany than now here in India itself. We were studying Amartya Sen in the series about social justice and so on in Germany.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, that's a revelation. The people who write the syllabus and all should listen to this and put in more Indian stuff here. So what advice would you give a person in India who would want to get into social work? Because not many people think of social work as a profession to take up.
I mean, social work is not necessarily just a profession. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do in social work without being a professional social worker, and that's one of the main pillars that's holding the social work all over the world. And for me, the role of a professional social worker is different. So there's a lot of stuff that the social worker or a volunteer can do, but it's not necessarily to be a professional social worker. He should be in the background and do the guidance work, do some counseling, do some supervising on that. He also should deal with cases, group work, communities, and so on. But there's also a lot of social work that people can do in terms of groups and being there and running it. I mean, I see it from Germany. There are a lot of people who are out there who are the trainers of the youth football club or youth trainers for other sports or trainers. They are role models for other persons, and they do a lot of things, and they are not a professional social worker by degree. And
no, now we have bachelors in social work, masters in social work. Do you think it's essential to be a social worker or to know all those theories?
I mean, to work as a professional social worker with a professional work attitude, you should know about the theory, because otherwise it's not working. And, I mean, social work should be a planned process, and it should be based on theories, otherwise it's not professional. And just going out and giving children a ball, it's a kind of social work, but it's not a professional social work. If there's not a plan behind it, a strategy behind it, why I'm giving these children now the ball.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm thinking that's important to know about the theories.
What made you interested in India? I mean, how did you decide on Chennai, coming to Chennai to do this exchange part of it?
At the time when I started thinking about this Bachelor Plus program, we had two partner universities, one in Chile and one in Chennai. With the time now it was growing. Now we have 6 partner universities. 3 of them are in a Spanish-speaking country. I don't speak Spanish at all.
Okay.
Then we have 2 partner colleges here in Chennai and 1 partner college in Namibia. And I was staying as a volunteer for 1 year in Tanzania, and I was doing in South Africa my 6-month internship. That's part of my studies, and so I decided not going to Namibia, doing my studies there at the university. So I wanted to go to India, and because I'm loving in Africa, I started loving Indian food, because there are also a lot of Indians. They have Indian restaurants and so on, and if you want to go have something special, especially in Tanzania, then you went to an Indian restaurant. And the South African kitchen is strongly influenced, the traditional South African kitchen is strongly influenced by Indian cuisine. So I learned loving Indian food. That's why it was a very easy decision for me going to India and make my experience there.
But India is, as you know by now, it's a very diverse country. So even the food, the cuisines of different parts of India will also be very different. So South Indian food will be very different from North Indian food. What is it about the South Indian cuisine that you like?
I love dosas.
Okay.
And cold dosas, but I don't know if it's special South Indian cuisine.
Did you get dosas in South Africa? You just mentioned just now.
No, dosas is something new. The experience that I made here. The people in South Africa, they eat a lot of rotis.
Okay.
In Tanzania, chapati is something like the typical Tanzanian food also. But dosa is something that I discovered here in India.
You've been to, like you already explained, you've been to Tanzania, you've been to Namibia, you've been to South Africa.
South Africa, not Namibia.
Okay, South Africa. How would you say that your experiences there compare to the experiences that you have had here?
That's a tough question. I mean, India is a very diverse country, but it's also strongly transformating. And you can really observe this transformation process here in India. And the background of the countries is different. Tanzania and South Africa is so different, like Tanzania and Germany, or South Africa and Germany, or South Africa and India. So it's difficult to compare it, and so it's difficult to see differences, because the experience that I made were all very different. I was staying in Tanzania at a rural area in a village with 20 citizens and 400 school students at a boarding school. Tanzania in South Africa, I was staying in a very diverse, multinational town. I was staying in Cape Town, so it's this town is very Western also, but it's also very own. I mean, you can compare Cape Town with a Western town because it's something special, something own. And now I'm here in Chennai, I think Chennai is the 5th biggest city of India and one of the biggest, most populated countries of the world. That's absolutely different from that from my experience that I made in Africa. And this town is populated, it's always busy. There's some during night time it's less busy, but it's still busy and everywhere. And at my beginning I was staying in Coburg, directly at the stadium, and it was horrible because it was during nighttime as busy as during daytime, and I couldn't sleep there. So then I moved to Coburg, and my first impression of Coburg was, oh, it's more quiet, it's more living areas, it's a business area. And after a while I recognized that also this area is also very busy during nighttime. And it's always happening something somewhere, and that makes this town very living. And it's good to see this town is growing by living and not growing by planning, and that makes this town very interesting.
Would you say that when you first saw India, did you feel that you had a sort of culture shock, or did the experiences that you had in the other countries in Africa make you not that shocked about some of the things that you might have seen here? Like, you know, the traffic and the population?
No, real culture shock I don't have. The culture shock will be there in 3 weeks when I'm back in Germany. That was it always, when I stayed longer abroad. I had the culture shock when I was coming back, and I was coming back to my own cultural background.
Okay. Why? What would you say that when you go back to your place and you have this culture shock in your place, what is it that makes you feel that it's different?
I don't know what will be.
Is it because it's a little more quieter and organized, and you're not?
I don't know what it will be this time. When I was coming back from Tanzania, I was shocked because everything in Germany was so hectic and so pointless hectic.
Okay.
There was not a big sense behind this hectic, and the real cultural shock I got when I came the first time to the supermarket, because everything's shiny, and the fruit section, everything is so well sorted, and so the polish is so shiny, and it looks so. Yeah, I mean, the apple will be the same apple if it's polished or not. So there's no need behind it, and so I was shocked by that. So because making so much emphasis on things that is not needed, and then the second cultural shock I had after my time in Tanzania was it was starting raining, and I was looking for a cover, but everybody around me was just running around and was trying to get to the next shop where they planned to go, just coming out of one shop and running through the rain to the next shop. And I said, sorry, but why are you not waiting now? I mean, this rain will be over in 10, 50, maybe 20 minutes. Why are you not waiting?
Okay.
So, and there was shocked. What will be this time? I don't know.
I must tell the viewer that Mark is 6'5", and as you can see, he's got a tremendous voice, a bass voice. That's why maybe you can hear him amidst the din of all this traffic. We're really fortunate that he's got a really good loud voice. And has your height been a sort of advantage for you when you've been to all these places?
South Africa and Tanzania, no. The first time that I was struggling with my size was here in India, because it's really difficult to find clothes and shoes, especially shoes. It's not possible at all to get shoes in my size here in India.
Yeah. Maybe
when I'm going to a cobbler, I can get it, but in a shop they don't have shoes at all. So I needed shoes in between because my shoes broke, and there was luckily another exchange student from my university that's doing her internship here, and she was bringing me new pairs of shoes that I'd ordered in Germany. Yeah, but Yet it's a bit difficult to be so tall in this country. Sometimes I was thinking I'm too tall for this country, so.
Yeah, too tall, yes. Has anybody asked you why you didn't get into the basketball and the athletic area, the sports area, because of your height and?
People always asking me that.
Yeah.
But basketball is not such a famous sport here in India.
Not in India.
And so, I mean, in Germany, a lot of people, oh, you're so tall, you must play basketball. I said no, because when I was smaller, I was playing baseball.
Yeah.
And later I started playing volleyball, and also volleyball being tall like I am, it's very positive. But after schooling, after my school time, I stopped that, and now I'm just doing rock climbing.
Yeah.
There it's sometimes good, sometimes difficult to be tall like I am. Yeah, but you can manage it.
So rock climbing is one of your hobbies.
Yeah.
What are some of the other hobbies that you have?
I mean, I love hiking, and I'm really looking forward for my next hiking holidays to go out for hiking, or when I'm back in Coburg, we have a lot of forest areas around it.
So when you go for hiking, is it like for a day trip or
day trips camping,
stay overnight?
Stay overnight hikes.
Yeah, you have
both.
those. And you said it's forested. You have some wild animals around?
Yeah, we have some deer, some wild hogs, but not so many. I mean, Germany is very, very close populated, so there's in between not so much space for wild animals, but yeah, big wild animals that we have, deers and wild hogs, and then we have areas where we have also big wildcats, and also big wildcats, foxes. I don't know how to call them in English. Lynx.
Yeah, Lynx.
Yeah, lynx.
Yeah.
And then there's also the wolves are coming back from Eastern Europe and getting resettled in Germany, and on that way the German nature is making steps forward, but still there's a little space for wild animals.
Did you see some wild animals in Africa when you were there?
Yes, in Africa I saw a lot, also outside of national parks. And South Africa is everywhere fenced, so I think there's no nature. So there is a lot of farm areas, but also a lot of wild animals are living on these farmlands as kind of farm animals, but they are wild animals.
Okay.
So deciding if it's a real wild animal or if it's a farm wild animal, it's difficult to say in South Africa, but in Tanzania I saw a lot of wild animals. And here in India as well.
Yeah.
I've been at Nilgiris, at Madumalai, and there I saw a lot of deer, some elephants, some bisons, and this traditional Indian wild cows.
Yes, we've seen those.
Yeah.
So Mark, what would you like to end up as? Like, you're doing all your studies now. What would you like to continue with the social work, or would you like to get into some other field, maybe the United Nations, since you've got so much of experience now?
Social work is a lot of different work. I mean, I'm planning to do my PG when I'm back in Germany in international criminology, and later I would like to work on human rights violations. But still, for me, that is a social work. Social work is not necessary to be the counselor of a person or running group sessions. There's also more work that's needed to be done. So especially in structural transformation, and so for me it's the social work that I'm heading to, but it's not this classical social work that the most people are thinking about when they're thinking about a social worker.
What experience in India would you say you would treasure most? What memory? of India
What memory of India?
so far you've had?
I mean, I had a wonderful time with my friends here. I had wonderful discussions about India, Indian culture, about the system, the education system in India, and I really enjoyed it to stay here with my friends. So, and I made kind of fast, good friendships here, and really good friendships, and that is one of the treasures that I'm picking up from India.
Okay. I must say that you're one of the few social work students I've seen who's also very good in IT. You're very creative, and I have benefited personally from your creativity. Normally people with this IT thing would like to be in the IT field. So it's nice to see someone who's so up on the IT area and still in social work. So I hope you continue with that. In fact, I would say that if you wanted to, you could even be in maybe Hollywood, Bollywood, or Tollywood, or any of these film areas, because you're so good in this animation and creativity. Has it ever interested you?
The IT sector on its own, not so strong. I was thinking sometimes about studying engineering and on environmental engineering. So with renewable energies, this sector. So I had, especially my last years of high school, I was changing my plans always, but at the end I was ending up again at social work. And so I like to have this technical part as bring back balance into my life, because at school I had physics as my main subject, and I was doing my youth work, my church group, as a balance to school. And now I'm studying social work and I have my technical balance to bring it back. So I'm in Germany, it's a disaster response, and it's a federal agency for technical relief. And so there I have my technical balance into my social worker's life.
Okay, thanks Mark. You really answered a lot of questions. Normally I end up with saying, now this is your chance to say anything about anything to everyone in the world. What would you like to say?
Oh yeah. I'm not good in this last words, but everybody who's watching now this video, I mean, you should keep in mind that you are beautiful. I mean, that's it.
Who was watching?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's watching this video is beautiful. Okay. I mean, every human is beautiful, and so that's not must be a kind of model or actress or actor or something like that. So every human being is beautiful.
That's a beautiful thought to end with. Thank you, Mark, and I hope you do very well when you go back. And would you like to come back again?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
I have to, because I have to see my friends again. So
yeah, and we look forward to your coming back and maybe again appearing in KayCee's. Thank you, Mark.